One family, one people, one planet, one love, one family, one people, one planet, one love.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Ferraro. Welcome to SoulCall Sunday. I am the founder and spiritual director of SoulCall Ministries. And wherever you are in your journey to enlightenment and your conscious evolution of your being, we welcome you. This morning, the topic is resting in the journey, as opposed to resting on the journey. Resting in the journey, recognizing that the process of life is always unfolding for us. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that when we're going through those challenging times. It feels like, what in the world is happening? But there's this place where we can find that inner peace, and that's what we're going to talk about today. As we wrap up the theme, the overall theme for the month of August was living in the flow, living in the flow. So first, I'd like to invite you to just take a deep breath. Maybe you just came in from watering the garden or taking a walk or harvesting more zucchinis, more tomatoes. Just take a deep breath and a conscious exhale, maybe through your mouth. And then take another deep inhale, maybe to the count of 10 through your nose, just inhaling. And holding that for the count of 10, just bringing your presence and your awareness to this moment right now. And exhale to the count of 10. Knowing that you've given yourself time to be here now with us in this moment, wherever you are in the world of live stream. Taking another deep breath and an exhale. And in this moment, I give great thanks to the infinite source of all creation that moves us all in turn in the journey, on the journey we call life. May we recognize that all things we participate with, whether welcomed or a surprise visit maybe, are here for us to help us learn and grow into the transparent beings, the reflection of our pure soul, which remains untouched. We are that light. We are the light of the world, the ones we have been waiting for. It's that conscious evolution, the inner journey we are here to co-create with every step, with every breath. May we bring peace to every moment. And may resting in the journey allow us to recognize all the things that are here for us. Resting in the journey is bringing that awareness of peace, that awareness of oneness. It is releasing the this and that, the black and the white, the pain and the joy, releasing all duality. And our journey becomes this path of greater awareness, finding the balance, finding that balance as within, so without. Now we'll do a brief affirmation and go into a meditation. It'll last just about almost 2 minutes long of music, but allow yourself to feel it. It's, I am calmly active. I am actively calm. I am a being of peace on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of activity. I am calmly active. I am actively calm. I am a being of peace, seated on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of activity. And one more time. I am calmly active. I am actively calm. I am a being of peace, seated on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of activity. And I'll let this music wash over you and fill yourselves with light.
Open wide my heart. 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 Open wide my heart.
Just knowing that with an open heart, we become more porous in nature, allowing things to pass through with non-attachment. We maintain the clarity of our consciousness, the purity of our hearts and our souls, allowing things to move through and not stick to, so we become the luminous beings of light, resting in the journey. Now just bringing your consciousness back to the room you're in, and thanking the music of Lisa and Erika, and also the beautiful visuals Natalia Zuckerman put together for us. Thank you, Natalia. And so resting in the journey, I think sometimes we have this idea of, we hear about the hero's journey. Certainly Joseph Campbell brought that to life. The hero's journey of the epic spiritual warrior. That's us. Moving through the joys and pains, the ups and downs, mountains, valleys. We write about it, we sing about it. But resting in the journey, it's like when we stop chasing after the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, we begin to experience the aliveness of the journey. It's what makes it real, is what we realize on the journey. So, many people I know this summer have been taking road trips in switching them out for airplanes, right? When we fly over a thing, it's pretty quick. You can't really see anything. But when you're driving on the roads, you get more of a sense of these areas. We were used to just flying across the country. But when you start driving through states and then the cities within the states, and then sometimes the tiny little towns you might have to wind through, you get a sense of the journey being something a little more interesting. You've got to be immersed in it a little bit, and you see or hear things maybe you haven't seen or heard before. And again, it brings to realization that we're all connected on this journey. But resting in the journey is finding the peace as we're moving through the process. Sometimes we might experience something perilous. Maybe we run over something, or we get a flat tire, or several. It's happened to me sometimes on the road. But it's always the journey. We're always in the place of knowing we're going to get to the next place. But it's this space in between that we don't know. We don't know. And part of resting in the journey is adapting some spiritual practices that help us to be more calmly active and actively calm in the face of great challenge or something you didn't plan for. We're going to go a couple 100 miles today. We're going to stop here. We're going to eat here. We're going to put our RV over here. That's all great. But then life steps in. I've heard us say that on more than one occasion. You have all these plans, then all of a sudden life steps in. And so the focus then shifts from the imagined future scene in the movie of our life to the present scene, here and now. I think last week I mentioned Ram Dass's book, once he reached enlightenment. He wrote the book called Be Here Now. And you try to read it. He's trying every way he possibly could to describe the feeling of being fully present in the moment and how much it opens up to us. It's kind of like in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy goes from black and white to seeing in color. I have that experience every morning, those of you who know me. When I have my first cup of coffee, it's kind of like black and white, couple sips, color. That's just how it is for me. And so how many times in our lives have we experienced this? We have the future set. We know what it's going to look like. We are doing our visualizations, putting it out there in the universe. You know, the Abraham Hicks people and the visualization people, Shakti Gawain, Yogananda certainly talked about visualization. It's a particular type of concentration that has an effect on the particles and the waves in quantum physics. They talk about quantum leaps being the thing that when we see something, we might be the ones who make the electrons jump from one pattern to the next. The quantum leap is our projection of thought onto it. So all of these things come into play. Well, we're talking about how to be comfortable with the things that we weren't expecting. Not even comfortable, but aware of a way of dealing with them, recognizing it's going to help us grow. It's going to show us something. It's going to reveal something of the nature of what it means to be on the planet, to live present in the present moment, in the here and now. So therefore, every step reminds us how to live. The walk is everything. For those sports fanatics like myself, how many times early on in your careers of playing sports did you have a coach that would say, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. I don't know about you, but one of the most exciting days of late winter was getting the schedule for the softball season, putting it on the refrigerator and just looking at it. I would just take the time to go through every game in my head. And I know some of the players from last year and the year before. And, you know, being the catcher on the softball team, I'd be the one who would try to figure out what they were up to, like how they were going to try to hit the ball, what they were going to try to do, and how we would play for that. But I couldn't wait for the games. But you don't know, it's like a performance too. We can practice, we rehearse all of our songs, you know, and then we get out there. And until you start singing and playing, you don't know what the performance is going to be. You don't know who's coming. You could see so many tickets were sold, but sometimes you don't know who those people are. So it's always fun to put faces with numbers and seeing the beauty of what's coming in. So there's always a level, whether we are willing to accept it or not, there's always a big level of, I don't know. I don't know. It's that unknown. So we do our best to prepare whatever it is we're going to offer or present as in the moment. We would like to present as we look. Be as you are, as the Sufis say, be as you are, or be what you look like. Like however you show up, be the thing you represent yourself to be. That's our work, is to clear away all the things that kind of get stuck on top of us that make our journey a little heavier. You know, sometimes if you're in a boat and the boat is sinking, you've got to look around and think about what to throw off. What can we throw off in our consciousness that allows us to rest a little easier in the journey? What can we throw off in our consciousness that didn't belong there in the first place? Or what can we unload from our hearts? That box of old stuff that doesn't belong there. Easier said than done, but sometimes it feels like it's precious and we want to keep it because it reminds us of what that person did or what that person said or this experience. When we can recognize that all of these things were here to be like a pass-through situation. Those of you in corporate America, you know, sometimes you have pass-through corporations. What if we would adopt pass-through consciousness? That's what I like to call it. Pass-through consciousness. We don't need to remember that forever. It just helped to remind us, or maybe perhaps sharpen my intellect a little bit about a thing I didn't even know existed. I didn't know somebody could be like that. They can be like that. So, you know, in developmental psychology, we talk about to have a really healthy, strong child who's ready to be out in the world. It's trust with a healthy dose of mistrust. Meaning that would be the one to say, really, that road goes there? That bridge is worth that much. I don't think I want to buy the Brooklyn Bridge. Or I don't think I want to buy land in the swamps of Florida. Those kinds of things. It just make you ask one question when you're feeling something inside, when your intuition is saying, hold on a minute. When we're resting in the journey and we're not in such a hurry, it's easier for us to pause and reflect, be poised, and be the observer of life as we are being the participant. Last week we had a meditation workshop, and we were offering techniques of how to follow the breath as an observer, not the breather itself now. You're watching the breather breathe the breath. It's a particular poise and a particular way of being in consciousness that does give you more options. Why? Because we're not in a reactionary mode. If there is any gift in this global pandemic, it's that it's put a lot of us on pause for a minute, where we're getting ramped up and fearful. When you're fearful, it's hard to see what's happening. When you have a minute to put it on pause, you can take this information and you can, so to speak, you could spread it out or unpack that little box. See what's in there. What is in that box in my heart? What have I collected? I've collected all these hurts and I put them all in this box over here. Am I willing to move to a new home in consciousness? This is what this greater awareness of 2020 is inviting us to do, is to move into a new home of consciousness and to be choiceful about what we bring and what we leave behind and what we bring towards us from our new point of view, our new reference point of consciousness. Sometimes in our pursuit to look for things, it's hard to find the thing you're looking for when you're in constant motion. If that thing's in constant motion too. It reminds me of when I was younger. Anyone who knows me pretty well knows I am not a shopper. I don't like to shop for clothes. I'm a purchaser of things. When I need something, I know what I'm looking for, and I go in and I get it, and then I'm out of there. But every once in a while, I would make the mistake of going shopping with my sisters and my mom. They love to shop. They could spend all day in the mall. I would prefer to be outside. Well, when I make that mistake, it seemed like it would be fun at the moment. I would get just dizzy and have to just go sit in the middle of the mall with an ice cream cone. And I would go off on my own. But then every once in a while, I would think, I need to get up and find them because I want to go. And as I'd start walking looking for them, they were walking looking for me. Now, this is before cell phones, where you can't text and say I'm standing outside of the ice cream place. Then I started to realize if I just sat in the center of the mall and waited, eventually they would walk right by. When we're all in motion, it's hard to connect. The Book of the Tao says the same thing. The wise one sits at the center and waits. Think about where you could put it on pause and sit at the center of your own soul and wait. Just let it come to you, resting in the journey. Sometimes stopping doesn't mean you're not making progress. Sometimes putting it on pause is part of the process that equals progress. Pause, part of the process, equals progress. So that's what meditation is. It opens us up to a whole new way of being and a whole new way of experiencing things. So cultivate what Paramahansa Yogananda called emotional poise. Cultivating emotional poise is another step in the evolution of consciousness, meaning we respond rather than react. Because sometimes if we're carrying a bag or a box of something in our hearts or in our minds, in our limbic system of memories of hurts, somebody says something and you say, oh, I know where that's going. And we might project something out onto somebody that they don't deserve. Where can we cut that cord of consciousness, so to speak, and hook that up to some other frame? Our brains, the plasticity of our brains continues throughout our lifetime to allow for new ideas to come together in our heads in different ways. So detaching from one trained groove and allow that string of consciousness or that string of information to be attached to something that is new and more exciting for you. to new and more exciting. So from that joy experienced in meditation, Yogananda says, I received the rest of 1,000 sleeps. Thank goodness for that. I found myself this past week especially, I'm not sure what's coming out, but it feels like we're in motion and evolving towards something new. So I've been finding it difficult to sleep at night. So I'll sit up and meditate, and I feel rested, and taking in different things. So allow yourself what you need during this time. If it's a nap in the afternoon, go for it. Forget old ways of doing things, I guess is what we're saying. Forget all the old patterns and adhere to the ones that keep your consciousness on track for being light and translucent. Translucent. Some things to remember while we're resting in the journey. I wrote you can remember this, it's going to be in the newsletter this week. I remember in the 1990s, the early 90s, I was flying back and forth from Pittsburgh a lot, writing songs with people in polygram films, just shopping music and things like that. And I remember I was driving along the freeway in Newport Beach area before it was what it is now. I mean, it was still beautiful, but wow, it's so built up now. It's amazing. And I had to pull off the road because this poem came to my mind, and it was painful to process from life into living, from comforting fears, from guilt to forgiving. Gainful this process, yet releasing of all. Courageous the child who walks from a crawl. And I invite you to ponder that this week. It'll be in the newsletter under the thought of the week. And what that means to you, and I'd love to hear from you at info@soulcallministries.org or lisa@soulcallministries.org. If it makes you realize times in your life when you were that child seemingly just crawling around in something, and all of a sudden you were able to find your consciousness, find your truth, capital T truth, the one that was alive inside of you all along, and stand up and realize that we're not these little beings on the earth that are kind of helpless. We are that wide blue sky. We are that vast consciousness that we co-create with all the time. Like the quantum physicists are saying again, like I said, when you think something and put it out there, your thought and visualization, that concentration is tight enough to create a pattern. So space moves in waves, much like the waves of the ocean. So if we can affect that wave of consciousness, be careful to put only out there into that wave of consciousness what you would most like to see in the world. Repeating the names of the people you would most like to see, doing the things in the positions you like to see them in. Forget the other thing. Think only about what it is you would like to see. And know that when a challenge presents, it is helping to refine your seeing. If you can reframe it like that and learn to move on. Learn to move on. So a couple things to remember. Take God with you on this journey. The infinite, divine mother, goddess, whatever you call it. Remember to take it with you on the journey and talk to it like your best friend. Because it is. It's helping you co-create this source, this wave is helping you co-create what it is you want. And remember to give thanks for all the things you experienced already that have gotten you ready for the journey, to assist you in becoming alive in this lifetime. To becoming alive in this lifetime. Rumi once said, on the way of love, you must be very alive. And then remember to rest into the process of allowing. Allow for contemplation, allow for meditation, and new ways of doing and being. Mostly allow for the not knowing part, the not knowing. Be okay with not knowing how or why. Just know why you need it. Just be okay with not knowing how. And eventually you'll get used to how it works. That's the part. But mostly remember who you are. It is your divine birthright to be happy and free. And in that freedom, it doesn't require anybody else to not have theirs. Freedom is not pie. It is as wide as the wide blue sky. And we are living from that soul's calling that remembers capital T truth. The ego loves new, the soul loves true, is what I say. The ego loves new, but the soul loves true, which is deeper, deeper underneath all these ideas. As Rumi said, out beyond those ideas. So allow yourself to have that pass-through consciousness and participate more with the soul's calling that loves capital T truth, remembering that you are the wide blue sky. Enjoy this song inspired by the poetry of Rumi.
If you desire the self, get out of the self. Leave the shallow stream behind. If you desire the self, get out of the self. Flow into the river deep and wide. You are the wide blue sky. Don't pretend it isn't true. We can see it in your eyes. Turn with the stars above you.
Yeah, that was from Agape some years ago. Turn with the stars above you. Remember what you are. Let's just take that into prayer. In this moment, I give great thanks, knowing that I can remember who I am. I am the wide blue sky. I am not going to pretend that it isn't true. May that light from my soul smile through my heart, and my heart smile through my eyes. May I see with the all-seeing eye the wisdom of the one source from which I have come, and all things were put into motion, great and small things. May I see the light. May I see the light of truth in all beings. May it start with myself. May I find rest in the journey, perfectly poised on the throne of my own consciousness, directing the kingdom of activities with wisdom, wisdom-guided will, wisdom-guided will. May I spread love and this goodwill to all, knowing that it comes back to me. This is what I contemplate in visualization. What goes around comes around. I send around love and peace. I live in peace. I make that my entire focus this week. Peace. Starting with me with a meditation practice that gives me the rest of 1,000 sleeps. So I am ready for all that comes my way. I give great thanks for this, knowing it is my divine birthright. I evolve my consciousness. I am a porous being with pass-through consciousness, meaning I allow things to keep in my mind that serve me in my highest evolution. I allow experiences of life to teach me how strong I am, how courageous I am, how loving I am. With this knowing, I feel peace. Amen, Ashe, and so it is. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. Next week, our message is Awake and Ready, Awaken in the Cosmic Dream. And thank you for your donations. They help us to keep SoulCall going, to keep us doing the great things we're doing in communities, not just here in Columbus, Ohio, but other places. No amount is too small and no amount is too great. You can donate at soulcallministries.org/donate. We thank you for that. You can find us on Venmo too. And we did sign up for Amazon Smile. If you got to use Amazon for something, use Amazon Smile and we get a portion of that. There are great ways to purchase things online, but when you use Amazon Smile, SoulCall gets a portion of that. So we thank you for that. If you're in need of prayer, just kind of getting over the hump sometimes, or experiencing a challenge, please drop us an email at prayer@soulcallministries.org. We've got a fantastic prayer team who is waiting to pray with you. And if you would like personal one-on-one prayer, you can request that as well. But know that you're being prayed for. And we thank you for that. Share us on social media. We appreciate the shares. Thank you for that. SoulCall, one word, Ministries is our YouTube channel. Help us to get our subscribership up. It's climbing every week, and we appreciate that. But also find us on our Facebook page, SoulCall Ministries. We appreciate it. This coming Wednesday, already September 2nd, we're starting another Catching the Thread class. You didn't have to take the first class to take this one. And it's Healers on Healing with Dr. David Leonard. And this is the book, Healers on Healing. All these amazing people in here. Lynn Andrews, Deepak Chopra, Ram Dass, Larry Dossey, Louise Hay, just to name a few. Bernie Siegel, remember some of those people? So if you want to get some Catching the Thread on healing of consciousness, join us for that class. You can register at soulcallministries.org/classes. And I think we're going to add an evening class. Right now, it's 11 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. on Wednesdays, starting September 2nd. And we're going to record the first hour where David and I talk, and then open it up in the second half an hour. So I think that first hour we're going to record and make available as an evening class. So if that works for you, let me know, because I think we're going to start doing that and we'll have that class on either the Wednesday night or Thursday night. But more information will be on the website and certainly in the newsletter. So subscribe to our newsletter. If you go to soulcallministries.org, the newsletter has got lots of great music, insights, musings, and all sorts of things that keep you on track with all the things we have going on here at SoulCall. Next Sunday, right after our live stream, if you live in Columbus, join us at Unity of Maze Road for a very special 11 a.m. Integrative, it's like a co-creation with 3 other centers. It's called Leading the Light, and it's based on the premise of those who aren't against us or for us. So it's our very first interfaith participation. We're going to be doing a guided, kind of like a guided meditation, music meditation with the philosophies from Unity, Rays of Light, and SoulCall Ministries. So join us September 6th. We're going to have a voter booth out there. And also every second and fourth Tuesday at that Unity Center of Columbus, Unity of Columbus on Maze Road, we're going to have a drop-off station where you can drop off non-perishable foods. And some of our contributions are going to help feed people right now who are having a real hard time putting food on the table. But the second and fourth Tuesdays will be our Tuesdays to collect non-perishables and then distribute them to families or to the shelters that provide food. So that's something that's exciting. And I think right now, that's it. It's coming up September 20th, we're going to have a mala bead making workshop at the Unity of Columbus location. More on that is going to be on the website too, under events, soulcallministries.classes. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Natalia Zuckerman, for helping us put this all together. And wherever you are on your spiritual journey, know that you're being prayed for by our SoulCall team. And if you're in need of special prayer, reach out to us. But wherever you are, no matter what's going on with you, know that you are loved. See you next week.